The heartbreak of the short season. You know, the exact moment you've spent months coddling your tomato seedlings under grow lights, you carefully check your local frost dates, you got them in the ground, and then Mother Nature throws a temper tantrum. A sudden June frost turns your peppers into mush, or maybe a random July heat wave hits, causing your tomato blossoms to drop off that vine, completely resetting your harvest clock. When you only have an 80 to 100 day growing window, you don't have room for errors. A single week of weird weather can mean the difference between a counter full of fresh produce and a compost bin full of regret. It feels like the weather is changing faster than our gardens can keep up. If you're feeling discouraged, burnt out, or tired of gambling your hard work on unpredictable spring and summer weather, I hear you. It is deeply frustrating. But here's the good news. Science actually has your back. And it's not the kind of science that happens in a multi-million-dollar corporate GMO laboratory. According to a massive smallholder review published in the journal Nature, small-scale growers, like us, actually have a distinct evolutionary advantage. Because our footprints are small, we can pivot, adapt, protect our crops in ways that massive industrial farms simply cannot. Today, we're diving into peer-reviewed research from the University Extension's and organic breeding programs. We're going to break down how to stop fighting your short season and start outsmarting it using 4 hyper-resilient crop types and 3 low-tech management hacks you can use right now. Let's start with the foundation. What we're actually putting in the soil. When your season is compressed, you can't just walk into a big box store and grab any random seed packet. You need varieties bred specifically to handle erratic temperature swings. Organic breeders are currently focusing heavily on what's called speed breeding, open-pollinated heirlooms. They're selected plants to grow with an absolute sense of urgency. Here are 4 specific research-backed plant categories you should be looking for. Number 1 is the fast-maturing legumes. Let's talk about protein and soil health. If you've struggled with beans or peas, given up the ghost when the weather gets weird, look up a variety called the Fast Lady Cowpea. It was developed by legendary organic breeder Carol Deppy, specifically for short northern seasons. It thrives in cool summers, ignores droughts, and matures faster than almost any other cowpea on earth. If you are incredibly tight on space, Extension Trials also highly recommend the Queen Anne variety. It stays super compact but keeps pumping out massive yields even if an unseasonably cold snap hits your yard. Number 2 is the heat-resilient tomatoes and peppers, the holy grail of the backyard garden. Tomatoes and peppers. In short, with a season of heat wave triggers, a major defense mechanism in these plants, they drop their blossoms to survive, or the heat ruins the pollen viability. That delays your fruit by weeks, which you can't afford. Variety trials highlight the Heatwave 2 tomatoes and specific localized short-season pepper varieties that are physically built to hold on to their blossoms and set fruit right through unexpected temperature spikes. And number 3 is the dual-purpose tubers. If you want a true insurance policy for your food supply, look to the humble sweet potato. Agricultural research shows that sweet potatoes are the ultimate small-scale buffer crop. They don't mind rapid changes in soil moisture, better yet, they give you 2 harvests in a compressed window. You can sustainably harvest and eat the nutrient-dense leaves all summer long, and then dig up the storage tubers right at the first frost. And number 4 is the bolting-resistant greens. Let's talk about the spring to summer transition. We've all watched our lettuce or spinach of different sorts bolt, turning bitter and then shooting up leaves the second the temperature ticks up. Breeding initiatives have successfully selected greens with delayed bolting traits. These plants are designed to keep their flavor and hold their shape even when spring abruptly slams into the extreme summer heat. Now, picking the right seed is only half the battle. The real magic happens when you pair those resilient varieties with smart, low-tech agroecological management. Data from the USDA Climate Hub proves that we can completely adapt the environment around our plants to blunt the impact of weather shocks. Here are the 3 actionable strategies to implement in your beds this week. Strategy 1 is to build a living canopy. Industrial farms grow one thing in massive, flat, exposed fields, and they suffer for it when the weather turns extreme. In your backyard, you want to do the exact opposite, intercropping. Try planting your four or five fast-maturing, fragile crops directly beneath your taller, heat-tolerant species. This creates a diverse canopy. The taller plants acts as a natural shade barrier and traps humidity, stopping the sun from baking the soil and protecting fragile root systems from sudden shock. And strategy 2 is armor your soil. University Cooperative Extension research continually confirms that soil organic matter is your best friend during a drought. By heavily mulching your bed, you cool down the soil boundary layer. This keeps moisture from evaporating and allows cool season root crops like daikon radishes and beets to keep happily growing deeper into the warm trending without getting stressed. Strategy 3 is deploy structural buffers. Because your garden footprint is highly manageable, you can use temporary physical infrastructure to dynamically alter the weather. Don't leave your rows completely unprotected. Keep floating row covers and temporary shade cloths on hand allows you to instantly step in and shield your plants. Drop the row covers to save your plants from early spring frosts and hoist the shade cloths to protect them from sudden midsummer UV radiation spikes. It effectively tacks weeks into both ends of a short season. The takeaway here is simple. A short growing season doesn't mean you can't have an incredibly productive, high-yielding backyard farm or home garden. It just means we have to play smarter. By moving away from generic varieties and embracing short-season heirlooms, biodiversity, and simple microclimate hacks, you take the control back from the weather forecast. You don't need industrial tech. You just need a human-scale plan. Until next time, keep those roots living and nurture your biome. When soil thrives, everything else follows.